All right, so now we're going to talk about writing vivid descriptions. If you're ready to learn about the importance of writing vivid descriptions, let's go ahead and dive into that. It's really important to recognize that, vivid word choices and descriptions are kind of like, a spice rack for your writing. They add the flavor, the color, the depth to your story, and they help create that more immersive experience for your reader without a whole lot of extra words. It's really important that when you do this, that you use the strongest words that you can, because sometimes you might say, it was a really bad day. But if you say that my mood on this day was as black as night, that's a little extra. And you don't want to be like overly creative so that it takes away from your story, but you definitely need to find that good balance and make sure that you have added your vivid descriptions. So let's get into some tips about why writing vivid descriptions are important. First of all, it creates a sense of place. And we've talked about this a little bit, but when you talk about where you're at and you give the, how dark it is, how light it is, how did it hurt your eyes, the sun shines so bright, things like that, your reader will get there with you faster. So it creates that sense of place. It adds depth and richness to your story. It can help set the mood and the tone for the story that you're telling, and it adds layers of meaning, and symbolism. It engages the senses. If you're talking about the bright light, your reader will actually, kind of remember the last time that the sun blinded them, and they will totally relate with what you're saying there. When you are vivid with your words, it makes your writing more interesting. Now, you may not realize that, or you may just think you're not a good writer. And let me tell you, nobody is really a good writer until they learn to use more vivid terms in their writing. So you will become a better writer if you will use these techniques. But it definitely can help capture your reader's attention. It will help keep them in there with you. And it definitely will help them visualize the story. That's the whole point of being a writer and taking them on the journey with you, is you're putting in words a story that they can see in their head. That's the whole point. And so using those vivid word choices will help your reader visualize. It can help convey emotions or feelings. It'll help, like if you were to say, the sound of the rain was as soothing as a lullaby. Your reader's going to read that and they're going to be understanding. They're not just going to understand that it was a soft rain. They're going to understand you and your character a little bit better, because they also understand that you really like soft rain because it soothed you. It calmed you down. It was like a lullaby. So when you give that very short descriptive right there, you've done two things. You've given them their own association, but also deepened your own character. So it's really important. Another thing is it helps with creating memorable experience. If you describe a beautiful sunset in the way, that it makes your reader feel like they're watching it with you, they're more likely to remember that experience. There's so much that you're going to be telling them in your story. You want them to have those moments that they feel they're on that journey with you. And then using vivid words will also help create a unique voice. Now, what I mean by that is the way you describe things is sometimes a reflection on you and your personality and your style. If you say, that was badass as hell, then they're gonna be like, okay, so this person's casual, they're fun, they're maybe this, just different things. They'll make their own assumptions by the word choices that you use because you're being authentic. And through that, if you kind of venture into some sort of a poetic sentence, they're going to be like, okay, so this person is very reflective. They're, immersed in their own emotions. They're very visual. They're gonna know who you are by the word choices that you use, and that's a good thing. So feel free to be yourself. And again, then it adds just the total authenticity. You want to use your voice and use your descriptives. If you wouldn't say, the rain sounded like a soft lullaby, I wouldn't say that. So I wouldn't write that. So don't try to be, graphic with your word choices if it's not a word you would use. Sometimes you want to get it into your thesaurus or look up, other words for this and find a word that feels like you and then use that instead. And then number 10, it can just be fun and enjoyable. Finally, you have to allow yourself and your reader the ability to play with language and be creative and express yourself in unique and interesting ways. So remember, writing vivid descriptions is very important. It's a part of creating a memorable and engaging memoir. It will help your reader, which will help you. All right, guys, get out there, have some fun, and let your creativity soar.